what is SAP S/4HANA?
Easy question, but all of you, I would assume, would know what SAP ECC is, right? So, and for us, from where I'm looking at it, I started off working on SAP when it was ERP way back in 1997. That's really way long back. And from ERP, we had a big change to SAP ECC, which is Enterprise Core Component that came out, I think, in 2000, 2001 or 2002. I don't really exactly know which year it was. I lost count. But since then, it has been about 15 years. And then in 2015, SAP came out with S/4HANA. So what happens with S/4HANA is it is the ECC rewritten for a cloud a little bit. It has got HANA as a database, which is an in-memory database. And we all know when I started my SAP career, I was working in SAP and a GUI. I did not know which operating system I was working on, which database I was working on, which processor was behind it, and which hardware it was working on. And I think it's true for a lot of us.
Yeah.
With S/4HANA, SAP says, yeah, we used to support every database, every operating system, every system. They said we need to simplify it. Mm-hmm. And the reason we need to simplify it is because technical reason, two things. We can't support every database in the world because it takes too long for us to upgrade and give you a new patch. So HANA became the default standard. The first thing was no more DB2 Oracle SQL Server. It's only HANA as a database. We only have to focus on one database. And second thing that all of us know about, and I think the technical guys in the room will know better, is that SAP told you to write everything in a ABAP language, which is the business programming language. Mm-hmm. And then SAP compiled it to the lower level database and OS commands. With HANA, you can still write code at the ABAP level, but if necessary, you can also write code at the HANA level, which means you can get better performance. You can write stored procedures. And cloud native developers who are used to programming in Oracle or Sybase or DB2 will love it, because if you write a stored procedure, you can do much more with the database. So no, I'm not saying stored procedure in the real sense of stored procedure, but you get it. You can do something extra.
So really, like ECC compared to S/4HANA is pretty much, HANA is like super fast database, which if you're on ECC, you're not there. So jump onto HANA, that make you run everything a lot faster, and also be able to do analytics too. I mean,
you can do analytics. So people used to have BW for analytics. And when did BW come? In 99, when I was working, there was no BW. We used to write ABAP reports, and every data was in ECC, and it took an awful long time to do it. For example, my first project, the HR report took about 16 hours to run. They had to fly in an expert, because I was with my first project. I thought, oh, Devraj is just, starter. Maybe we need an expert. They flew an expert who came all the way from, I think, UK, London to Frankfurt, where we were at the client side. He analyzed everything and came and said, Devraj did a perfect code. I like, it's back for me. But he said, it is so time consuming because your HR data is so huge and it's so much of the information, you need so long.
Right.
And people who know HR info types, they know how long it takes.
Because a lot of people will do like just BW on HANA, or they'll go ECC on HANA, but then that next step is S/4HANA.
Yes.
So let's say I'm a client, I'm running ECC. I have been doing, this has been my big thing right now. So I'm client running ECC, have been doing it for 20 years. Okay. And I pretty much have like, hanging out on ECC. What's the big deal? I mean, I can stay here till what, 2027? So if I'm hanging out in 2027, and so I've got like 5 more years to figure out the roadmap to get to S4. 3 more years. So, all right. So I have 3 more years.
The reason 3 more years is because after 3, you have to start the migration process, and it still take you 18 months to, move. Right?
Yes. Okay. So 3 years, I've got to get a roadmap, figure out what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
All right. So now I'm looking at my whole system and going, you know what? I have over-configured the system. Over the years, I've done everything out of the, we've been crazy, and so now what do I do? I mean, if I've over-configured my system.
So there are basically 3 things that we normally say to clients and customers. One is you can do a brownfield migration, which means you take your ECC and move it as it is from your on-premise world, or if you're running it on a virtual machine or a cloud, and convert it as for HANA. It's called a brownfield conversion.
Okay.
You will not get a lot of benefit of S4HANA, but you will get at least a database, the speed will be there, you will have some improvements, but that will be a staging ground for you to do even further. But you will get S4 pretty quick. You can get most customers can get it between 9 to 18 months. They can get a running system in S4HANA with a brownfield.